The coworker who ruined my life and didn't see me coming. This happened about 7 years ago, and I've never told the full story to anyone. Not because I was scared or anything like that, just because it was one of those things that made people look at you differently. But Reddit? You're anonymous. So here goes. At the time, I was working at a mid-sized ad agency in Chicago. Nothing flashy. I was 27, grinding hard, trying to move up, and I actually liked my job. Good team, decent pay, and the kind of office culture where happy hours felt like an extension of the workday, same people, same banter, just drinks involved. My best friend at work was a guy named Trent. Mid-30s, married, a little cynical but hilarious. We hit it off because he was one of those guys who never took anything seriously until it mattered. Smart, sharp, and probably the most naturally persuasive person I've ever met. The kind of guy who could talk the CEO out of firing someone and then convince that same CEO to give the guy a raise. It was annoying how good he was. Trent took me under his wing. We'd have lunch together every other day, worked on campaigns together, and he even helped me negotiate my first raise. I genuinely thought we had one of those office besties bromance that eventually evolve into real-life friendships. And that's where I was wrong. So, flashback to 2018, we're in the middle of a high-stakes pitch for a big client. Pharma brand. Big money. Trent and I had tag-teamed the deck, the concept, the whole thing. It was good. Like, we're definitely getting this account good. We even stayed overnight at the office 2 days before the pitch, working, refining, rehearsing. Then the day of the presentation comes. We go in, do our thing, and it's smooth as butter. Client loved it. High fives all around. We go out that night to celebrate, me, Trent, a few others. Classic post-pitch buzz. Then things got weird. The following week, I got pulled into HR. I was thinking maybe someone was complaining about long hours or something. Nope. They said they'd received an anonymous tip that I had plagiarized part of our pitch from a competitor's deck, which was ridiculous. I had never even seen the competitor's material. I asked to see what they were talking about. They showed me side-by-side comparisons. Sure, some visual elements were similar, but that's common in advertising, trends circulate. Nothing was identical. I explained my side and left feeling uneasy but confident. That Friday, I was fired. No severance, nothing. They claimed the risk of litigation from the competitor was too high. I was stunned. I emailed Trent, no reply. Called him, nothing. I figured maybe he was just trying to avoid the awkwardness. Then I found out the truth. A former coworker, let's call her Jess, reached out a few weeks later. She'd quit around the same time and asked me to meet for coffee. She told me Trent had thrown me under the bus. He was the anonymous tip. He'd taken sections of a pitch he knew resembled other work, pushed me to include them, and then ratted me out just before the pitch landed so he could get credit and remove a threat. How do I know she wasn't just stirring the pot? Because she showed me texts. Trent had been bragging about it to another coworker who Jess was dating at the time. Screenshots. Proof. I went cold. I'd lost my job, my reputation, and spent 2 months unemployed because of him. I even had to freelance to cover rent. Now, I'm not a revenge kind of guy. But something about this, it itched at me. I wasn't going to ruin his life. I just wanted him to feel it. So I waited. I knew Trent's weak spot, his ego. And his side hustle, he'd been quietly working on a startup idea. Some AI-powered presentation builder, think Canva meets PowerPoint. He was always coy about it, but when we were close, he'd shown me the wireframes. Dumb name, but decent concept. Fast forward a year. I'm back on my feet, working at a new agency, doing well. One night, I googled that old startup name out of curiosity. Boom. It exists. Website live. MVP launched. Trent's listed as founder. So I dig. Turns out Trent had gotten funding. A few angel investors, a seed round. Impressive. But the product? Garbage. Still glitchy, slow, UI from hell. But what caught my eye was that he was shopping it around to big clients, including, ironically, my new agency. That's when I put the plan into motion. I created a burner email, posed as a small brand interested in using his product, and asked for a demo. He scheduled a call. Gave me the pitch, showed off the platform, even bragged about his proprietary tech. Then I did something petty. I saved the entire demo video and every email. Why? Because about 3 weeks later, I accidentally CC'd his investors on an email, sent from another burner, with a polite little inquiry, hey, just wondering how much of this platform's code is original? This looks almost identical to X product that launched in 2017. Just want to make sure we're not investing in a clone. Happy to send over comparisons. Attached was the side-by-side breakdown. A few chunks of lifted code from GitHub. Even the UI elements that were 95% matches to another app's templates. I never heard back. But I do know this, 2 months later, the site was taken down. His LinkedIn scrubbed of the startup. One of the investors, a small VC firm, tweeted cryptically about doing better due diligence next time. Last I checked, Trent works at a mid-size firm in the suburbs, not a founder anymore. No more speaking gigs. No fancy side hustle. Just average. Me? I'm doing fine. Moved on, got promoted, eventually started my own small creative agency. I don't think about him much. But sometimes when I see people talk about karmic justice, I smile a little. Because karma doesn't always hit like a truck. Sometimes, it slides into your inbox with a just checking, and lets the world do the rest.